welcome back to the Franster Project. Right, we've done bread rolls in the past. Moving on to making a loaf now, strong white loaf. What you need for this is you need 550 grams of strong white flour, bread flour, 15 grams worth of salt, which you can see there. I've already measured that out. 10 grams of yeast. The best stuff that I use at the moment is Alison's Easy Bake yeast, available from Sainsbury's, Tesco's, or your local store should you be in America, Canada, the Middle East, wherever. 5 grams worth of sugar, caster sugar, normal caster sugar. You've got the yeast and the butter as well. You've got 50 grams of butter there and 350 millilitres of tepid water. Okay, first thing we do then is some people will sieve their flour into a bowl. I don't bother to do that. What I do is I just use the normal sieves on the end of a whisk. Give it a quick mash up and you can see that just gets rid of all the lumps. And it's as simple as that, it's as quick as that. We've got our dough sticks there ready to go on our mixer in a minute. But then what we need to do then is we need to get our 10 grams worth of Easy Bake yeast in there. Just give it a nice sprinkle in there. Move all your stuff out of the way so you've got plenty of space. Now we give that a real good mix now for around about 5-6 minutes so that we make sure that the yeast's right in there. What we'll do as you can see, that yeast is all mixed in there. We've got a nice fine flour and yeast in there now. Next thing we do now is you get our 50 grams worth of butter. If you've noticed, what I've done is I've cut that up into 6 pieces. Simple reason. The reason why I've done that is because when you're mixing butter in with flour, it's a bit of a nightmare. And so what we do is we put it in bits and make sure that it goes in evenly around the bowl so that we can get it to mix up a bit better. This is where we need to change into our doughy prongs on our mixer. So we throw that in, we put the yeast in, we put our sugar in there as well, and we put our salt in as well. So once we've done this, we're going to change that over to the dough sticks on the mixer, and we're going to get as much as our butter mixed into there, which should make it a little bit more crummy. You see it start to lump up a little bit, which is not a problem, but at least it mixes it all in there. Okay, so we mixed that up. What we're going to do is we're going to change the prongs on that into our dough prongs, and we're going to start adding the water. So as you can see then, we just mixed in the rest of the water, 350 millilitres of water, and that's going quite doughy now. So as you can see, as I'm spinning that, a bit difficult to do it on its side, as I'm spinning it, it's coming away from the side of the bowl. That's the consistency you want, because as you've got your mixer in there, and you're moving that around within the bowl, you can see it's actually coming away from the bowl. Once you get to that sort of consistency, that's the time for it to bring it out of the bowl. Quick little tip before you do that though is to get rid of all the doughy mixture off your prongs, off your dough prongs on your mixer. Is just make sure that as you come out you just lift it above the dough mixture, and then you've got most of that off. You can see there's still a little bit there, we can just pull that off because that's quite and then what we'll do is we'll move that onto the side now and we'll start kneading that. Okay, here you see we have our top now. We've just lightly olive oiled that. As I said before, there is olive oil in this recipe, and that is to just lightly olive oil the top there. Okay, there's our bread. We've just made that with the mixer there, the doughy mixer, as you can see. That's nicely coming away from the side of our bowl now. Basically, throw that on top of there, give it a quick flip, and let's get some olive oil on there. You may want to put a little bit more on there. That's still a little bit lumpy, which is not a problem. That's what we want, because we're going to knead that now. Okay, so basically, push, turn, knead. Fold it back in, yeah? We're going to get the air into that and get that smooth consistency now. You need to be doing this now for around about 5-7 minutes, maybe 10 if you want to really give it a good go. Don't go too mad because we're going to need it again later. But just give it a nice stretch. It's very elasticy. Don't just stretch it out. Don't be worried about it. Don't be scared of it. You may want to put a bit of more olive oil on there if it gets sticky. But if you just do that for around about 7 to 10 minutes, then you'll get the consistency, you'll get the smoothness, and then we'll leave that to prove in a minute. I'll show you how to do that. in the next 2 seconds. Okay, we're back. So as you can see, there's a little bowl over the side here with a bit of tissue in it. Basically what I've done is I've dropped a little bit of olive oil in that, and I've spread the olive oil right around the bowl there. You'll understand why in a minute, but make sure that's well olive oil. Put that to one side, and obviously we gave that a good kneading now. We've done that for about 10 minutes, as you can see from the video fade. And then basically what you need to do is, once you've got it nice and smooth like so, just like we do in our baking our rolls video when we're making our little rolls, is just chop it underneath so you've got a nice ball, nice smooth ball. And then what we do is, there's our slightly oiled bowl. We're going to whack that in there, right in the middle, boom, like that. As you can see, that's in the middle there. We'll put that to centre very shortly. Now look how big that is now, and look how big that is in a few seconds. What is a few seconds will be an hour and a half. What we do with that is we'll put that into the middle there. Now I'm going to leave that on top of the cooker, warmest place in the house. The whole cooker's not on, so it doesn't need to be on either. It just needs to be in an area that's around about 25 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to leave that there on top of the cooker. I'm going to put 2 tea towels over the top of that, and I'm going to leave that there for about an hour, hour and a half, and then we're going to come back to it, and then we'll show you what to do next. Alright? Okay, so we're back after about an hour. What was a few seconds for you was an hour for me, and if we look in that bowl now, twice the size. That's what we're looking for, twice the size of what it was before. Slam it out on there, like so. And what we want to do now is we want to just turn him over so that we get the olive oil that's been on the surface that I've just put on, gets on both sides of it, and then we just knead it out. As you can see, it's got a lot bigger. It will go a bit smaller now because obviously we're going to knead it again, but we're going to give that a good knead for about another 10 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes. Just give it a good knead round, and then we'll show you what we're going to do with it next. So after kneading that for around about 10 minutes, what we do need to do now is start shaping it. We've got our tin there, that's been lightly oiled with some olive oil. You'll understand why I've done that in a bit. But what we need to do now is, a bit like the bread rolls, instead of spinning it when we're chopping it, just chop it. Okay? And then keep pushing it down. You need to make it around about, well, just under the width and the length of our dish, because that's going to prove again in a minute. And obviously try and square the edges off. Keep chopping it, get it into shape as much as you can, as you can see. Don't be frightened to mess about with this dough. It's not going to hurt you, it's not going to stick to you as long as you've got enough olive oil on there. Now what I'm going to do here now is I am going to put that into my dish in a minute. But before I do that, I should have had this out ready, but that's me all over. So grab my flour out of the cupboard. I'm going to be using that in a moment, and I'm just going to put myself a nice little slit down the middle, like so, and a couple across, so that you get that bread effect that you want when you're baking a little bit later on. They need to be about half an inch apart. Okay, so just chop that in again. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to get our dish. That's about just short of what we want it, because that's going to, again, that's going to grow when we prove it. So we'll just pick that up, put that in the dish, centralise it like so. Right, we're going to spread that with a bit of flour, just a little bit of flour over the top. There you go. And what we're going to do now, move our big dish out of the way, we're going to wrap that in our tea towel again, right the way round. Not too tight though, because you're going to need for that to rise, and that's going to rise up quite a bit now. And we're going to stick that one on top as well, so we get the warmth in there. Right, we're going to leave that for about another hour, and what you'll see when we come back that that's proved again. That's got very big, as you can see. That's the size of it now, which is not really filling the dish right now, is it? But what we'll do, when we come back to it, we'll see how much that's risen, and then it'll be ready to go in the oven. As I said, with bread, easy to do, easy to prepare. It's just the proving that's the problem, you know. You have to wait an hour and then go back to it and then wait another hour. But if you can find things to do in between then obviously it's not a problem, because the preparation is so easy. Okay, we left that loaf in the bread tin now for about an hour. We've just put it on the oven. The oven's preheated at gas mark 7. As you can see now, that's filled itself out the way we want it to. It's filled out the whole of the tin. You can see the flour on the top of that. Now, a little trick that we do is before we put that into the oven, if you put in the oven a old baking tray right at the bottom of the oven, let it warm up with the oven up to gas mark 7. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves a jug of cold water. Right, this is to get the steam effect for your bread. And what we do is we just throw that in the bottom, like so. You can hear that fizzing. We get our bread in, drop that in there on the middle. Right, that's on gas mark 7. We're going to leave that in the oven for around about 25-30 minutes till the top goes brown. Then we'll take it out, get it off and cool it off. Okay, so about 25 minutes have passed. That's been in the oven, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that out. And as you can see, there's our loaf. That's what we're looking for. Nice and brown on the top, white around the edges. Okay, what we're going to do, as you remember, I put some olive oil all the way around that tin. Reason why I did that is because of that. Comes out nice and easy. Just pick them up, stick them on your, stick them on some sort of mesh tray so that you can get the air all around it, so it doesn't sweat underneath the bottom or anything like that. As you can see, if we listen very carefully, we've got that hollow sound. That is what you want to hear out of bread. When you get it out of the oven, you need to be tapping it and listening for that hollow sound. So that was 25 minutes in the oven. We'll leave that there and we'll try and get ourselves a little recipe or something to make a nice sandwich out of that later on. Incidentally, if you do want some good recipes to make sandwiches out of your own fresh baked bread, then all you've got to do is go to this website here, or this YouTube channel here. There's a guy on there that does meat and fish. He's my best mate, Scott Ree. It's the thescottreaproject. Make sure you put 2 T's in for Scott. Have a look at his YouTube channel. He does fish, he does meat, he does all kinds of things. So you want to go and have a look at that, and you might come up with some recipes to use with my bread rolls or my loaf of bread. Hope you've enjoyed that. Come back to the Project soon, because I'm sure we'll have some more recipes for you. Thanks for watching.